Interesting. Okay, welcome back. I just cupped these on my own. This was pretty cool because I've never really cupped 3 coffees at the same time like this. It's always like, oh, let me try a batch of this one coffee. So this time I had the opportunity to cup a Brazil, a Tanzania, and a Honduras all against each other, which was super interesting. The Tanzania roasted quick and hot, standard light roast, washed coffee, and is cupping and tasting like Tanzania should. Just very complex, a lot of floral notes, bright, very good coffee, this one. And I had, before I had cupped, I didn't really know which was in which. So I was trying to do my best of a blind tasting or blind cupping, which was great because I just put here with a little dry erase marker like T. This one was not marked, and this one was H for Honduras. And then as I was making my notes, how I do it is typically SEA, they'd have 5 coffees like this, like a W, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. I'll give you a top-down look. So this was 1, this is 2, this is 3 for me on my notes. So I'd already cupped Honduras, like you guys saw in that one vlog, but it was cool to come back again and do it as a medium roast and then cup it thin. So we have a Tanzania light, a Honduras Copan medium, and then a Brazil dark. And this dark, you know, when you look at the roasted coffee, it doesn't like look like a Starbucks dark. You know, there's no oils coming off of the coffee. And ever since Derek from Mill City Roaster said, hey, you can roast dark but still with nuance, that always kind of intrigued me, and that's what I was doing here with this Brazil. But the Brazil itself, the coffee itself, is not really very complex. This is a Brazil Ipe, natural coffee. It's pretty much one note of what you would expect from like a dark roast. So it's just got like chocolate, nuts, baker's chocolate. What I got here was baker's chocolate, so like not something so sweet, like more on the darker side. But then as it was cooling down, I was getting more milky chocolate notes, nutty, pretty one note, roasty, not bad. I'm not getting anything burnt from it, but just much more roasty in comparison to obviously a light and a medium roast here. So number 2 right here, strawberries, red fruits, velvety, melon, cantaloupe. I was getting a lot of cool layers as it was cooling down. Number 3, right off the bat when I was first cupping it, when it was like piping hot, was pear. I've never tasted pear before, I don't believe. Like very sweet pear, and then hazelnut, and then citrus and floral and fruit and things like that. So just very complex with the Tanzania, super tasty. And it was really cool to just taste not only different coffees, but all at different roasted levels. So again, light, medium, dark. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun. Got my notes in here. I'll link for you guys for this video. I'll link for you guys the, what do you call it? The curves for all of them, so you could see what was up with the data. Interesting enough, this coffee right here was kind of like my first roast of the day. I don't actually have kind of like, I did like a mulligan, a redo of this Brazil Ipe, because I wanted to, I don't know, I felt like I could still nail it a little bit more, master it some more. I feel like I've mastered Honduras Copan. I feel like I'm still getting to know Tanzania. I haven't roasted a lot of it, so I feel like I still need some more time with it. But this is cool. Cupping it, not even, I haven't even let it rest for... Okay, we got cut off again. Okay, so we got off 3 times. All right, so to finish off what I was saying, I hadn't even let these coffees rest for at least 12 hours. I'm all turned around. I typically let coffees rest at least 24 hours, and then I cup. And the reason being is because once the customer receives it, they never are tasting something that's hot off the roaster, right? Like within a couple of hours of coming off the roaster. It's always within a couple of days or something like that. And typically we like to see customers drink coffee within 6 to 14 days of the roast date. That's when it's going to be the most delicious. It's, you know, the coffee has settled in. A lot of the unwanted or unfavorable things have come off the coffee in terms of in gas particles or something like this, and that's what the literature says. And so yeah, cupping a coffee when it's super fresh like that, we're really just looking for defects, what was wrong. And for me personally, I was like, well, I knew my Tanzania and I knew my Honduras were going to be on point, but I hadn't really filmed it and I hadn't really talked about it, so I wanted to do that. Plus, I was going to cup them against a coffee that I felt like I didn't do a good job on, which was that Brazil, my first roast of the day Brazil. And I did a mulligan, like I said earlier, which was like I did it again. And you'll see in the data, you can compare and be like, oh yeah, if I saw this data, I'd be like, I'd want to do it again too. And that's just because I didn't heat up my roaster all the way meaning like I didn't preheat to like a 420 and let it come down to temperature. So here's a little tip for you that I learned that I just wrote down for myself. It's like no matter what the charge, because when you're charging naturals, you charge quite low, obviously, right? Or not obviously, but like that kind of is the rule of thumb, is to go kind of low and slow and gentle. And I was doing a 375 charge on my natural on the Brazil, and I think I preheated to about 400 and then came down to temperature. When it's your first roast, it's just not as reliable. It's not going to be as consistent about holding thermal energy. So, you know, hold that temperature a little bit longer, maybe go to a higher temperature on the first preheat, and then maybe charge a little bit hotter. And sometimes my note taking is not on point, because I feel like I've learned this lesson before, and I think I forgot. I'm not really sure. So whatever, lesson learned. I roasted it again, and you'll see in the data, if you compare both curves, you'll see that I did a lot better. Now, when I cupped it today, I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it. You know, I wouldn't say that it's undrinkable as a dark roast. Actually, I wouldn't even call it dark. I'd probably call it like a full city plus. So I was like, you know, I feel like I could do better. I feel like it's not dark as I want it to be. So I did again. And that's just, you know, part of being roaster. Like, I feel like I could do better. So I did, you know. And I wasn't, you know, don't feel bad about it if you feel like you have to do that. It's just like you're doing your due diligence to make sure that the product that you send out is good. And that, you know, you approved it, right? Anyway, okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed these videos. Links of these 3 coffees are and the what do you call it? The roast curves are in the description below. And I'll see you guys about 2 weeks. Peace.